Hello there, it is full year results time for Volition, and I'm joined high above the city of New York by the group CEO Cameron Reynolds, and also president of Volition, and also Terig Hughes, the group CFO. In a moment, we'll be hearing, as you'll find out, from Dr Tom Butera of Volition Veterinary, because, Cameron, we've got some really exciting news.
Yes, Nick, I won't steal all of Tom's thunder, but an amazing deal we've now signed with Heska. And it's good deals take time, and this is a great deal for us and for them. I think it provides us with a steady revenue stream if the kits sell as we expect, and some fantastic milestone payments adding up to $28 million with $10 million immediately. So it's a really good validation of what we do. It really gets us off on the point of care in the vet space, and I couldn't be happier or prouder of the whole vet team.
Well, you mentioned the name Heska. Who are they? The person who can answer that is Dr Tom Butera of Volition Veterinary. I was able to talk to him earlier about this deal, and he was really able to explain the relevance of it to Volition.
You know, let me just take a breath. I know that everybody wants to hear about where we are with the commercial agreements, but I want to give a little bit of insight as to why I'm even here. You know, I've been interested in this company for almost over 10 years. I found out about it as a private investor. I've followed it for a good number of years. And through my interest in the company, I eventually had the opportunity to sit on the board and become a board member for a period of time. And then learning more and more about the company, especially with reference to the animal application. And being a veterinarian myself, my question was always, can the platform that you're using on the human side be transferred over to the animal side? And I've obviously come to find out, because it was only 3 years ago that we signed an agreement with Texas A&M, a memorandum with them to do work and bring the animal part of Volition into focus. And here we are 3 years later signing agreements. But I want to give you a little bit of insight. I'm just tremendously gratified. My excitement now for where we're at has never been higher. And this team, the Volition team, and the tremendous amount of work that they've done over the course of the last 10 years to get to this point where we can actually have a commercialization of a product of this substance that potentially can be available to pet owners. Currently, we don't have something like this. We don't have a screening test. We don't have a low-cost screening test where we can identify cancer in animals early on. So what we've accomplished in such a short period of time is absolutely phenomenal. Our Dr. Robles, who's head of oncology and leads as our chief medical officer at Texas A&M, in 2021, we published 2 peer-reviewed papers. And Nick, it's really interesting to know that everything that we do is validated by peer reviews. And that's an important piece for our veterinary community and the oncologists in particular to understand and appreciate before we would even do a launch. But on top of that, we also had a successful launch with Texas GI Lab in December of 2020. Again, within this 3-year period of time. And here we are now talking about potentially going to a commercial launch on a more global scale.
Now, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, there's a bit of breaking news here with all this activity going on. You've landed a big fish, or should I say a big dog, recently. Tell us about this news.
Yeah, we're absolutely delighted. We are signing a $28 million licensing and supply agreement. It's a worldwide exclusive agreement with the Heska Corporation. Their primary focus is point of care. There's a $10 million upfront payment. There is an $18 million additional payments based on near-term milestones. And then in addition to that, we are also going to see significant revenue from every test that's going to be performed. So there are 3 levels to this, and we couldn't be more excited.
Give me a bit more detail behind the headline on Heska. Who are they? Where are they? What do they do?
Point-of-care laboratories are when you bring your dog in, that test can be run right there, and the result can be readily available to the veterinarian to speak to the client about. Heska, their primary focus in the United States and is going into Europe, is developing and putting in hospitals, veterinary hospitals, point-of-care platforms. In this particular case, they have a platform called Element I, which is an immunoassay. Our test is going to sit on that platform and be available on that platform as a point of care device in veterinary hospitals.
For completeness, because this looks back over the last 12 months in 2021, tell me about the deal with Sage Healthcare, signed, seems a long time ago, back in December.
Yeah, let's not forget, Sage was a very, very nice deal for us in terms of we signed a non-exclusive supply distribution agreement with them in Singapore. Singapore has over 400 veterinarians practicing there, over 100 veterinary hospitals. Not only is Singapore of interest to us, but obviously Singapore and our relationship with Sage can also be an entry with us into other parts of Southeast Asia as well.
Let's take a brief look at the future. What on earth can be coming up next?
Well, Nick, we still have more agreements to sign. We are still in the process of negotiating some additional agreements, and we're very excited about those coming. We have a number of clinical papers that we're still working on, and they have yet to be published and peer-reviewed, so we're very excited about that, especially with reference to differential diagnosis, and we're actually getting a significant number of samples from 5 major universities. And finally, we have an immensely busy conference schedule, both domestically and internationally. We're getting significant interest on the parts of a worldwide basis, and consequently, we're doing conferences on a worldwide basis as well.
So that's the veterinary landscape from Dr. Tom Butera. Cameron, coming back to Volition as a whole, talk me through some of the highlights over the last year.
Yes, it's been a fantastic year in a range of areas, and most notably in the 2 Ps, which are most important. Our patent portfolio and Dr. McAuliffe, who spent a lot of his year writing a very wide range of patents. There's been a really new wave of patents this year, and we have approaching 200 patents applied for and granted now. So it's a fantastic position that really helps to develop what we do. And on the people front, we've spent a lot of effort in the last year making sure we have a very broad team as we move into commercialization. So on my right here, obviously our group CFO has done a fantastic job in progressing us towards a commercial organization. A range of people in the vet space, most notably our CEO of Vet, Tom, a fantastic industry professional legend who's really built up a great team. And we have a lot more on the scientific side as well. Dr. Terig has been really developing the team in California, so that's been fantastic. Also, Gatan has moved to the US, our Chief Operations Officer, to really push the development there. On the commercialization side, Gail Forte has done an amazing job in helping us get through the deals we've been working on. So it's just been an absolutely amazing process. And we've just hired a group general counsel. We have dozens and dozens of contracts in process, so he's been tremendously helpful. But we've had to really broaden the bench to make sure we can deliver. And I think we've done a great job at getting some amazing talent.
We're going to hear about the financials in a moment. Terig patiently waiting there, but we've got some more Ps to talk about. Product pillars.
Yes, so we've actually been working through all of the pillars this year. It's been quite remarkable, the breadth of the nucleosome platform and nucleosomics in general. So apart from the Nu.Q, human cancers, where we made some progress in the Taiwanese trials, which we released the data, very encouraging data in colorectal. Some lung is coming up now. On Nu.Q NETosis, we've had a huge amount of work, and we're trying to get our first products launched around the summer in Europe as CE mark products. It'll take time to get revenue from them, probably through next year, but we aim to get them certified this year, and we think that's an absolutely huge market for NETosis. And then of course Nu.Q Vet, which we've covered a lot, has been fantastic progress, and Nu.Q Capture and Nu.Q Discover have also made great progress. Very happy to announce, and I guess Terry can talk about it a bit as well, we have now signed 6 deals on Nu.Q contracts for Nu.Q Discover, and Nu.Q Capture has made great progress. So it's going to be a very exciting year again.
Well, Terig, you've been waiting very patiently there. You're no longer the new kid on the block. You've been here a while now. So talk us through some of those highlights and some of the aspects there that Cameron was mentioning.
That's right, Nick. It's been a very busy year. I'm glad to say that we finished in a solid financial position with $20.6 million in the bank. We've had a busy year on the financing side. So you may recall that we started the year with an announcement of $4 million in non-dilutive grant funding from the Walloon region. And then we had in February an underwritten offering where we raised $18.9 million. And then through the rest of the year, we raised about $4.6 million from our ATM offering. That's our at the market or equity distribution agreement. And we've finished here in a really strong financial position.
So that's the housekeeping, but what about the new deal, the impact on commercialisation? Shareholders and investors are obviously going to be fascinated with this news.
Yeah, so fantastic news. It's a great deal. We'll have an upfront payment of $10 million, followed by up to $18 million in milestone payments. We'll also have a nice revenue stream in the future from product sales. So overall, I think it's really going to change the profile of the company. Congratulations to everybody. I think it's a really fantastic news, and we're on the path of our commercialization journey.
So finally, Cameron, from you, just sum up. Wow, it's been quite a year, hasn't it, really?
Yes, Nick, it really has. And I just couldn't be happy with the progress we've made, the team we've built. We're really on the cutting edge of epigenetics. And, it's taken quite a while to get our platform developed. Now we're really scoring goals on all fronts. It's absolutely fantastic. Could not be happier or prouder of the work we've done. I think we can really change the world of epigenetics and healthcare. And the team is just getting stronger and stronger. And I think we can do it in all of our pillars. So it's going to be an absolutely fantastic year. And it's been an absolutely fantastic start so far.
Great news. Big smile from Terig over your shoulder. Terig Hughes, Cameron Reynolds, and also Dr. Tom Butera. Thanks very much for joining us.